Infernal blessings. We are back with another video. Before we begin, a couple quick announcements. Again, time is winding down for the 2024 yearly forecast readings. Those are coming to a close in about 2 weeks. So if you want to finalize your 2024 yearly forecast reading, shoot me an email, khnum19@gmail.com. And please put in the subject title of your email, yearly forecast reading, just so I can see that it stands out. I'm trying to get all those readings booked before I stop doing them. If you're interested in any other type of reading that I do offer, a telepathic demonic reading, a shadow work reading, a Santa Muerte reading, an Egyptian oracle reading, deity reading, any of the aforementioned, shoot me an email, khnum19@gmail.com. Also, please include your full weekly availability, what you're available throughout the entire week. Please don't just put one day and one time. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work like that. I still got people doing it no matter how many times I say it. People will email me, I'm available Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Well, I wish my schedule was that easy to accommodate it. But 9 out of 10 times that's not going to work unless you're lucky and I just happen to be available at that time. So please send me a full weekly availability along with the time zone you are in. That speeds up the process. It eliminates the back and forth email. If you're really serious inquiry about doing a reading, and I'll send you that information. Same thing, if you want to book a spiritual consultation, shoot me an email and I will get that information over to you as soon as I am able to. If you want to sign up for classes, the way to sign up for classes is to go to the official Primordial Chaos Patreon page, patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti. Tier 3 is the tier you want to join. That gives you access to all of the three private monthly classes I do every month on Patreon, in addition to the group ritual. It also gives you access. You don't just get access from the day you join moving forward. You get access to everything in the archives, which is about 4 years worth of classes and content of ongoing classes. Go onto the page, see the many different classes I got going on right now on every topic you can think about. Ancient Egyptian vampiric class, Sith dark side alchemy philosophy class, telepathic sorcery if you want to learn about the Clip-Pop, Luciferian magic self-mastery class, shadow work class, Kundalini meditation and awakening class. There's more. Go on there and check them out. Everything is archived in the collection sections. It's labeled and in numerical order, so you can take the classes in order. You also get access to all the group ritual work, which is 40 rituals and counting. That doesn't even include the ritual work and the work involved in the ongoing series of classes. So if you want to take your path of self-mastery to that next level, that's what you want to do. Check out patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti tier 3. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram, Primordial Chaos 9, all one word. Check us out on Facebook, Primordial Chaos 2 words. Mark your calendars, October 2024. Third or fourth week in October, the 7th annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference, right here in Hollywood, Florida. More to come on that later in the year as we progress, but I'll keep putting that out there again, just to remind you to mark that down on your calendar. Also, don't forget to check out the Primordial Chaos podcast, available on Spotify and all major podcast platforms. The direct link to the podcast, along with my contact email address, the social media pages, the direct link to the Primordial Chaos Patreon page to sign up for classes. All of that is in the description box of this video that you're watching right now. All right, you see the title, okay? Taking the mindset of a god and a goddess, reprogramming the subconscious mind. All these things are in alignment with what we must do to master the self. So let's talk about the aspect of reprogramming your subconscious mind. And why you do it is to remove a lot of the indoctrination that's been instilled in all of us from the time we were small children to adolescents to teenagers to adults. Yes, that indoctrination sometimes carries over into the adult years of your life. Okay? When we talk about the concept, and you've heard me talk about this in many different classes over the years, one aspect of magic, and to master magic, to master your spirituality, to create that successful path of self-mastery, you must reprogram your subconscious mind. Okay? So what you're doing, you're literally going in there, and I always use this analogy, you guys, I'll say it again. Look at your subconscious mind like the hard drive on a computer. So whatever you put on that hard drive, whatever files you store there, that becomes the very core fabric of that hard drive or that computer. They know this, so from a very early age, they started indoctrinating us with theories, concepts, dogmas, spiritual beliefs, and all of it was illusions, number one. It was false, number two. It was their ideology on what they wanted you to understand about God, the devil, life, death, etc. All of this to shape and fashion your mind in alignment with what they were trying to instill in you, their agenda, their purpose, okay? That was their point. So a lot of us came up, not all of us, but a lot of us came up through serious systems of spiritual indoctrination. There is educational indoctrination we've all been programmed with. Society indoctrination. How the media, movies, the internet, all of this are aimed at the main goal of controlling your thought patterns, controlling your mind, the way you see things, your perspective, how you view things, and the way you think. So why I use the term a lot, you must reprogram your subconscious mind. It's no different when you add files to a hard drive, you make changes to the drive, you put things on the computer that you want on there, you put what they call what? Programs, right? Do you have this program for your computer, right? We use this term all the time. Download this program. There's a software or a program that will fix, or there's a software or a program that will make the computer function with the level of intelligence that you need. Well, they download programs to your subconscious mind all the time. Religious programming, spiritual programming, educational and institutional programming. And all of it's in alignment with their agenda, conformity. Conforming or conformity to their ideology. Because they know, when I say they, I'm talking about the powers that be that have an agenda. Those who want to rule and control everything. The political system, the social system, and the economical system. Okay? Those that feel like they need to have that dominance and control over society. It starts with controlling every facet of your life, everything you do, everything you think about. Now, religion's a motherfucker because religious programming is, in my opinion, the number one tool of ignorance that keeps people mentally dead and mentally asleep. When you talk to a fanatical religious person who's so stuck in their foolish beliefs and is so engrossed in ignorance that you can't even hold an intelligent conversation with them outside of faith and belief, that's a person that fits right in with the system that they've been trying to accomplish, or have been accomplishing for many years, I should say. Not trying, because they have accomplished. Okay? So your job as a magician, a black adept, an occultist, a person who's developing their path of self-mastery, and shadow work plays a large part of that reprogramming your subconscious mind. So what you're literally doing when you're on this path, you're going back in there and reforming and reevaluating everything that you've been taught and told. So I don't care what you came up in, whether it was Christianity, Islam, Judaism, this, that, or the other. I mentioned those three because those are the three major monotheistic religions that a lot of us here in the West grew up and were indoctrinated in. Majority of us. But as I said before, I know there's people that say, well, I didn't really grow up in a strict religious household, this, that, or the other. But you're in a society that it's influenced by everywhere you turn and look. Educationally, spiritually, economically, the whole nine. Shit. It's on the back of your dollar bill. They mix it all together. And they hide behind this Christian theology to justify their bullshit. Okay? So you don't necessarily have to be brought up in a strict religious household to not be living in an environment and a society and a system that you're affected by on levels you're probably not even aware of. So when you're reprogramming your subconscious mind, again, you're reforming and reevaluating everything you've been taught. And shadow work, again, is a great tool for that. So what you should be doing as you're on this path, if you came up, say, a Catholic, you should go back to the teachings of Catholicism. Now really look at them, analyze them, and compare them to the information you have. And now you're able to decipher what this really is, where they got it from. You're able to put things in context. It doesn't matter. You could have been a Muslim. You could have been a Jew or a Hebrew, a Buddhist. You could have came from an ATR, African traditional religion, which those are religions too. I know people like to be in Ifa and Kemetic studies, and they think, oh, I'm not into religion, and they're very religious in their mindset and nature. You might be saying it with the tongue, but the indoctrination and the program is still deep inside the mind. Because I see people who claim to be on paths of enlightenment, paths of consciousness, woke paths of awakening, and some of these motherfuckers are more religious than so-called religious Christians, Muslims, or Jews. I'm sorry, I got to call for what it is. And why am I saying that? Their approach. Listen to how they describe things, how they define things. The divine source, right? I mean, you're trying to find another word for God because you don't really understand what either one is. That's all you're doing. So you're trying to rationalize it in your mind because you still think there's some supreme entity outside of yourself that is more powerful than you. You can't come to grips with it. The programming's that fucking deep. So you can call it whatever you want. The Most High, the Creator, some supreme force, being, or source. It still shows up in here. You don't understand. You are that supreme force, source, or being. I know it's hard for some people to fathom because the programming is that deep. So they feel more comfortable confirming and putting their trust into the hands of a fictitious sky daddy. You might say on the surface, oh no, that's not what I mean when I say that, no. And you might think you're on some deeper path of enlightenment, but really you're still back to square one. You're still acknowledging some entity or force outside of yourself that you are embracing and that you're inferior to. You may say on the surface, no, that's not what I'm doing. And on the surface, you might really believe that. It's different when you say, I am God. I am a goddess. I am a supreme being. I embrace my destiny because now I understand who I really am, not who they told me I was. Not some feeble servant that's supposed to be submissive and subservient to some entity outside of myself. Not that shit. Okay? And I don't mean definition because the question comes up, God or goddess of what? And if you're saying that to yourself, I do not mean it in the context of what they describe as a monotheistic God. I'm not talking, when I say I'm a god or somebody on this path says they're a goddess, we're not saying that in alignment with your spook monotheistic concept of what God is. We're not your spook sky daddy sitting in heaven in the clouds somewhere with little fat kids in diapers. Not that God. We're saying we're a god or a goddess because we recognize and embrace the divinity within ourselves. Does it not say in your own Bible? I'm going to quote the great prophet Jesus, like I mentioned in the previous. Isn't that written in your law? I said, all of you are gods, children of the Most High. Okay? And that Most High is accessed through the subconscious of your mind, the awareness of your mind. Okay? It's not something that exists outside yourself, because now we can go even further back to that same quote in Genesis. For religious folks, God breathed into man and women the breath of life, and man and women became living souls. So you can't look for God anywhere outside of yourself. You have the very essence and nature of who you're calling the creator within you. So the only place you ever needed to go to look for God was in the mirror. But no, they took that away from you. They made you look outside yourself, up there in the sky, looking for a sky daddy to come save you. So I don't buy all that shit, the source, the divine being. I mean, it's just, you're spooked. I'm sorry. You just don't realize it, but it's very spooky. Okay? Need to look no further but the mirror. But reprogramming the subconscious mind is one of the key components of working magic. So you're going back and you're reforming, re-educating yourself. You're researching, you're comparing, because now you have a greater understanding. And when you reform that which you were taught, which was incorrect, that's the reprogramming process. That's how you do it. You must go back and reevaluate everything you were taught, everything you were studied, everything you embraced as truth prior to being on a path of self-mastery or the occult. And now you're going to be able to make sense of it, because now you have the knowledge, you have the wisdom, you have the understanding, the inner standing, the outer standing, and the above the standing, as I like to say. That's my invention, above the standing, which means you're outside of that. It's deeper than that. Okay? So now you can look back, say for an example, if you were raised Catholic like that's where they got that from. Oh, that's where that concept comes from. Now I see the book, and it takes on a different meaning to you. Like I said, you can start to go back into those things and see that's the point of origin. Okay, because this is what they did. That was the master plan of what they did. How could they take spirituality, the mysteries of creation, life and death, and how can they use that as a system of fear and control? Because if I can pump into your brain, you better follow all the rules and regulations. You better follow this particular religion in this way. You better follow all the tenets of that religion and spiritual path. If you do, I promise you some great reward in the afterlife, which you can't even prove is a guarantee. But if you don't follow all the rules, regulations, and tenets of this religion, you're going to be burning in hell eternally in some cursed lake of fire. Look at all the imagery, right? The spookism that they use to control your emotions through fear. And that's another part of the subconscious mind that has to be severely programmed. All of the fear that they've instilled in us about all of these things, right? What do they even say? You know those hardcore, what's the term you hear some hardcore Christians say? I'm some good God. He's a good God-fearing person. God-fearing person. I thought God was just pure love. Then you have people say he's just pure love. Why do I gotta fear God to be a good person? Okay? It's all tricks, and it's in the wordplay of these tricks. And words do carry weight, people. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Words carry power. They know what they're doing when they say things like that, phrases like that, terms like that. And they know the power of that when it's stamped into your brain or your subconscious mind. They know how it affects you. Remember, they go to work on you from within here out. It starts here, because if I can control the mind, I can control the body. They know that. So if they can control the way you think, it's very easy to get you to go into the direction physically they want you to go into. Okay? It's that simple. So reprogramming the subconscious mind is a very important aspect on the occult, the left-hand path, and the path of self-mastery. This is a process we're doing. It's a continual process. Now, as I mentioned a couple of times earlier, shadow work is probably the foundational component of that reprogramming. Because shadow work is going to help you uncover the hidden self, as we say in shadow work. The self sometimes you know is there, but you've been suppressing, you've been avoiding, you've been trying to bury, and then the aspects of the hidden self that's there that you're not aware of, that's seriously or subconsciously buried, that you're not conscious or aware of. These are the true aspects of yourself that you've been taught to avoid on very subliminal levels. When you unlock the hidden self, and again, as I said, it's a combination of many things. Excuse me, right? There's some good things there, but there's a lot of things you're going to learn about yourself through shadow work that you say, wow, I didn't know that shit was like that. Or wow, I didn't know that was affecting me like that. Or wow, I didn't realize that was such a deep impact. You start to really understand your nature, who and what you are. And when you start, the biggest form of reprogramming the subconscious mind is having true knowledge of self. And again, I got to go back to what I developed in my mentorship program on the Patreon page, the 5 points of self-mastery. The first point, the most important, knowledge of self. When you have true knowledge of self, there's nothing in this existence that is more valuable than that. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. When you have that true knowledge of self and everything around you, within you and about you is functioning on that level, you've hit that niche, there's no stopping you. Okay, trust me when I tell you, there's no stopping you. You're unstoppable at that point. And having true knowledge of self is the most powerful form of reprogramming the subconscious mind. Because you're using the process of removing those systems of indoctrination. Okay? It's one of the greatest things you could do on this path. I don't care what anybody says. Okay? When you put that first above everything, you'll see everything after that starts to fall into place, starts to align. Okay? So when we're doing this, we're doing that reevaluation and reforming that I've been talking about in this video. And that's what you need to do. Okay? It's a very Luciferian concept in nature. Remember, a Luciferian has that mindset of everything I'm talking about now. They believe they are the true and living God. Okay? They believe that they are the sole controller and ruler of their universe and domain. And everything evolves around them, right? They don't evolve around everything. They're not outside, quote unquote, of that evolving. They're at the center of that evolving. When you're at the center, you're grounded, you're rooted, you're in harmony. And everything is evolving around you. It's a very Luciferian spiritual complex of embracing the fact that you are God. You are your master. You are the master ruler of your domain. And a Luciferian is always what? Seeking enlightenment, which is intellect or knowledge. And that knowledge starts with you. We're trying to seek true knowledge of self. And then how does that proceed from us into a greater understanding of our life, everything we're connected to, and how everything evolves around us. Okay? That's what this is truly about. That's what reprogramming the subconscious mind is truly about. And that's something you should be trying to strive for, something you should be trying to seek out. Because then and only then will you truly master yourself, and then the reprogramming of that subconscious mind can truly begin. All right? All right, having said that, I have reached my destination. Hopefully this video shed some light / intellect and helped and assisted you on your spiritual path. That's my goal. Again, if you want to reach out to me for a spiritual reading, khnum19@gmail.com. Again, all of the contact information, the direct link to the podcast, the social media pages, my contact email address, the direct link to sign up for Primordial Chaos classes on the Primordial Chaos Patreon page. That link, along with all the aforementioned links, is in the description box of this video you are watching right now. If you want to, sign up or get involved in any of those things that I'm doing here at Primordial Chaos. All right, that's how you get at me. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you on the next video. I do look to be, hopefully in the next few days of the recording of this video, my next live video will be the review of the Luciferian Sorcery Anthology that came out by the Temple of the Ascendant Flame, in which I am a member and a high priest, and I also contributed work to that book. And I would highly encourage you to get that book, not because I have something to do with it. If you're looking for rituals of self-empowerment, that's the book. Trust me. Believe that when I tell you, 100%. All right. Infernal blessings, and we will talk soon.